Hello and welcome to another brand new episode of the YAAG Project. In today's episode, we have somebody very special whom I've been following for a long time. He's a very evolved spiritual soul and I'm using this opportunity to glean in as much knowledge from him as possible. We are here with Shriyam sir. Sir, thank you so much for giving me the time.
Thank you for coming. You're lucky you've caught me in Ujjain. Kailash.
Absolutely, sir. That's something that I wanted to start this episode with. Every year, the Shivaratri celebration happens in different places.
Yeah.
So why Ujjain? Is there anything specific behind this?
Normally we have Shivaratri in Madanapalli, but sometimes we shift. Like some years ago we went to Varanasi. We went to the Varanasi Shivam and had our... So, Shivaratri is to do with Shiva, as a concept of Shiva.
Yeah.
So, if at all we shift out of Madanapalli, we would like to go and celebrate Shivaratri in a place where there is a Jyotir Linga. So, Ujjain is an ancient Jyotir Linga, one of the 12. So, we decided to do that. Plus, it also, I think it's a special Jyotir Linga. You know that it is, the Linga is facing the south.
Yeah.
Dakshina Mukhi.
Yeah.
The Linga is, So when you look at the Linga, you are looking at the north, actually. This is rare. And I personally think that it's a center of some energies, because it's a Swayambhu Jyotirlinga. So Jyotirlinga usually means the Jyoti of Shiva, the light. And Swayambhu means the energy there is not created through Prana Pradishta, but already exists in it. So all the aratis are done only to kind of express our devotion to the Shakti that comes from there. So because therefore it's also a Shakti Sthala.
Achha.
Yeah. So I've been thinking for a long time. Last time I visited many years ago during the Padayatra. So when I came here, I thought it was a wonderful place. Then we came again some time back, again went to the Garbhagriha, had a darshan, did arti, came out. So it has been on my mind for some time now that the next Shivaratri it would be nice to have in Ujjain. It's also the place of some yogis we consider to be close to the Nath Sampradaya, like Bhartrahari and so on. So, Gopi Chand. There are caves close by. If you go, you can see today there's a big crowd here. So this is also the reason. And our friend who looks after or much of our excursions, I would say, spiritual excursions. He also was very happy with Ujjain. I don't want to name him because he's at home.
Sure.
So we ultimately decided to have it here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we had it here and I'm enjoying it. Actually, we had a 2-day Satsang Shibir and then today is the day and then in the night Shivaratri.
Right, sir. Sir, and I also wanted to share this, that I have a very special connection, ever since I read your book, Apprentice to the Himalayan Master. After reading the book, I went on to watch a lot of your videos. In one of the videos, I heard you speak about Sri Vidya. And in that, you subtly suggested that if somebody wants to get into Sri Vidya, start meditating on Bala and she is the gateway. And I just genuinely followed that. And there is a temple called Nemili somewhere in south. There you have to call and they have to give you the permission and you go there. I went, I came back in a span of just 3 to 4 months thereafter through somebody in Chennai. I was initiated into Sri Vidya and I've now come up to Panchadasi. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is that somewhere there are certain things that guides, and I've always been in search of a guru. Because this guidance came from you, does it mean that are you the guru that I'm seeking? Or this might sound silly, but how do you even go about understanding if this person is my guru?
Look, if you were interested in Sri Vidya and if you entered it through Bala, my mantra, then you can think of me as a teacher who got you into the Sri Vidya. See, there are gurus, there are upagurus, there are many. In fact, there is nothing wrong in changing and going, looking at something else. There's no problem. So, whether one is somebody's guru is something that will be worked out automatically in that person. Nobody will say, oh, I am your guru, kind of thing. If somebody appoints himself as a guru, it's a dangerous trend. You have to watch out. Even an ordinary guru appointment is dangerous. It is something that you have to decide. From your own mind, you should work out, is this a good idea for me? And then you come and tell me, okay, I think I have looked at all the parameters and I think you should. Then it works, right? And you don't have to search. The guru usually looks for a good person. Good disciples are at a premium. Now, the third thing is that you said Sri Vidya, you got initiated. So you said you came up to Panchadashi.
Yes.
So see, in Sri Vidya, Upasana, there are various categories like Lopamudra, Durvasa, Kamarupa, and like that. So which one has been given to you? It can be Panchadashi because there are 15 syllables, but do you know the school?
I don't know the schools.
Okay. Doesn't matter. I was just curious because you said.
Yeah.
So, as far as Sri Vidya is concerned, everybody who catches me, suddenly they give me Sri Vidya. It's not such a joke. You need to be very serious about this matter. And Sri Vidya comes from the Tantras.
Yes.
So since it comes from the Tantras, it does not, it's not a necessity that you should become a sannyasin or give up everything and do that. Because Tantra follows the principle. You live in this world, you enjoy this world, but then at some point you realize that this is all that you can get from this. Step up on the other side.
Yeah.
This is Sri Vidya. Many of the followers and practitioners and teachers of Sri Vidya have all been grihasthas. Very few have been sannyasins. And the mathas which have Sri Vidya or sannyasin generally don't impart it to anybody. Like Sringeri is also a center of Sri Vidya, but they won't give it to anybody easily.
Yeah.
So, Sri Vidya basically is what Kriya Yoga is Yoga Tantra. Sri Vidya is the Mantrayana section of Tantra. Tantra need not mean a bad thing because Tantra has acquired a bad name because of the Vamacharins who have been doing all kinds of things and so on, which also has its place. You can't say no. There have been great yogis who have come from the Vamachara.
Yeah.
Cannot say no. But mostly I belong to the Samaya Marga category where we don't need to indulge in the what we call the Pashu variety of practitioners.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So all these have to be noted, and it's basically a combination of Bijaksharas.
Yes.
With ream to cap everything. And Mancha Dashakshari means 50.
Yeah.
The matra, the sound, and the time at which you chant is very important for the simply by chanting the Vijakshara also, it's not that effective. You need to know how much time each should be chanted. funny thing is Adi Shankara was himself a Sri Vidya Upasaka, belonging to the Samaya Marga.
Yeah.
So in one of the verses of the Saundari Lahari, you can find all the Bijaksharas. Not enough. You should know where to keep the Bijaksharas in which center,
Yeah.
and then how long each should be chanted. These are the important categories.
Right.
You do that, the inner energy, the Sri Devi, the Sri Vidya. In Sri Vidya, usually it's Prasanna Devata, like Rajarajeshwari, Tripura Sundari.
Yeah.
Generally not Bhadrakali and all those Ghora Devatas. So, yeah, in Vamachara, they would rather prefer the Ghora Devatas. So therefore, the Shakti is awakened in us in a pleasant form. Since Saraswati is also part of Shakti, sometimes you will find that wealth also increases in the outside world, which we have to watch carefully that we don't get caught up in that too much. You need, of course, but right. The other thing which will happen is when this is awakened, women will get attracted to you if you are a man. And if you are a woman, Sri Vidya Upasaka, men will get attracted. That again is a thing you should watch very carefully and see that you don't go overboard.
Yeah.
Because the Devi in true essence is part of Shiva. And Shiva oftentimes is Ardhanarishvara. Both can have effect in male and female.
Right.
All I am trying to say, since I cannot repeat the Sri mantra, Sri Vidya on the podcast, all I am trying to say that these are things which have to be done with proper guidance,
Yeah.
and it does have its effect. Ultimately, the ultimate aim of Sri Vidya is what is described in the Saundari Lahari, where Shiva is in union with Shakti and there is great ecstasy. And the Ashtasiddhis are just fall-offs from that, little things.
Yeah. Sir, and also you mentioned that the student today is a good student is at a premium. I also wanted to understand that in today's day and age, is it possible for a student to have a one-on-one relationship with a guru, or is still one-to-many okay?
Now, you see, as if you become popular, then you will see that the students find it difficult to have one-on-ones with it. But then, if something is going on and if there is a link, the one-on-one develops in its own system. You don't have to say, I want to always... If that is required, somebody will be having a one-on-one with you automatically.
Okay.
That's the last thing you need to worry about, actually.
Okay. So one of the main aspects of this podcast that I wanted to cover was a lot of the information that is available on YouTube or any other places is for people who are getting into spirituality. But for somebody who has just started, probably they are begun to practice a year or so or 2 years or so. So how do they realize, or what are the symptoms they look at and say that yes, I'm on the right path, things are progressing, or am I falling off and I need to course correct? So how do they identify that?
One of the main qualities, attributes that develop in a person who is taken to spiritual sadhana, unless he wants to do something like how to attract yakshis and pisha, that is not spiritual, okay? That's not spiritual. Suppose somebody is on a voyage in the spiritual field. Actually, he wants to realize his inner self and his connection to God. You can call it God realization if you like.
Yeah.
If somebody is serious about that, then the first thing that will happen is, after a while, the distractions that take place when you fix your attention on your deity or your inner self becomes less. Also, the person begins to have some control over his emotions. I wouldn't say samniyam indriya gramam, all the indriyas are under my control. that may not happen, but at least our emotions will begin to have some control over and not allow outbursts to happen. Which means the mind will look after the emotions rather than the emotions dictate the mind structure.
Yeah.
This is the first step that should happen. Second, when you sit down and do your japa or your practices, you will find it easier than before. And there will be an element of enjoyment in your practice. These are the things that you have to look at. I think you also, in the course of it, become a better human being. You also care for others.
Yeah.
And don't always think that I am right.
Right.
These qualities are there. If you are practicing, doing some yogic practice, or not just a bhakta, but if you are doing a yogic practice or a tantra upasana or something, other things are that the face will begin to be little bit attractive. God knows how, but it will be. Your speech will also become good. Your need to eat food will reduce. You don't want to eat too much. And you manage to stay calm in the midst of circumstances. These are some of. If this is not happening, then it's time to review. You see where I am going wrong, what is happening. If a person has taught you, sit with that person and try to figure out what is it, where am I going wrong. Having said that, different paths move in different ways. Bhakta doesn't practice pranayam also very often. It's just, but really it is very difficult to find true bhaktas. Everybody says I am a bhakta. Yeah, bhakta is one who is completely mad about his God or goddess or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't care for other things. Not just lighting a lamp, that better than nothing at all, but so these are some of the signs. And if you are a yogi, your body also becomes light.
Right.
In fact, your excretions like your sweat and so on, they also begin to become milder. And for the one who practices, it may not be so for a bhakta who is totally absorbed. He doesn't care anyway.
Right.
So,
See, is it possible, like say for example, this is something that I go through, is that sometimes there is a sense of guilt. Like say for example, when you come to a place like Ujjain or go to Varanasi, to be involved and feel connected and be there is easier. But when I go back home and I'm at my daily work, and today that we are in a world of remote working and all of that, while I'm sitting to do my japas, there is a guilt that I'm not doing my work. And then while I'm prioritizing that, there is also a sense of guilt that I'm not giving enough time to this. So how do we stay?
this is why such places have been created. So that when you do your work, put your entire soul into your work, okay? But every now and then take off and come to places like this so that you can fully be absorbed in this. When you go back, you will find that you are more productive actually. Productive minus the negatives.
Yeah.
Right? So that guilt will slowly disappear, which is why such places exist on earth, so that when you say, oh, enough, now you go, sit quietly in a place. Now this is because of Shivaratri, otherwise there is not this kind of a rush here.
Yeah.
Find a quiet place, go to the temple every day, sit near, watch the Linga, come back and meditate, and then go back and do your work.
Yeah.
Alternate between unless. You are most of the time staying in a place where a yogi who seems to have touched something is living, then you don't have to run around. You can stay there.
Right.
I'm saying that because some other people here who heard this might try to run off every now and then. There's no need. It is all there.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
So,
Sir, and people talk of karmic bondages as part of their thing, and somewhere I've also heard
the what?
karmic bondages.
Karmic bondage.
Yeah. And somewhere I've also heard that to realize and become, get to your ultimate, you have to neutralize this to zero. But how do people break karmic bondages?
Look, when you mean karmic bondage, what does it mean? Are you talking about your past birth and the karmic bondage?
Yeah, past
or
birth
the present?
as well as the current karma that we are creating with every action.
Now we have to be very careful with this. If I was about to become a sannyasin has no karmas to perform. In fact, if you are a Brahmin, you throw your jenu into the Viraja Homa. You don't have any duties even as a Brahmin to do. This is sannyas. Suppose a person who is about to take sannyas has been pulled forcibly and put into the world and is going through all these things, then this problem comes. Mostly we only take our own decision. We are about to leave everything and then we see a good girl and we say, okay, chalo, let's have a, right? Who will you blame for that? It's created by you.
Yeah.
If it is, last minute also you could have said no, right?
Yeah.
It's created by you. If it is created by you, there must be some reason it has been created. To appear as if you have created it. There is some reason. Reason is, perhaps many of your problems are to be worked out only through this karma.
Right.
So, to the best of your capacity, do the best that you can. If you are a spiritually inclined person, keep this in mind, as long as it does not overtly interfere with your spiritual practice. In that way, if you lead your life and do the karmas that you have to perform, I think it will be helpful if both sides think like that.
Yeah.
If only one side is a difficult thing, I understand, but one has to.
Right.
So the karmas are self-created. Well, they are connected to your past, of course, but that in the past, when it was present, you created your own karmas.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if you look at it, you have created your own. You have to deal with it yourself.
Yeah.
As long as it is not allowed to interfere with your spiritual progress,
Right.
then it is okay.
Right.
And this modern world, no? What I'm trying to say is, this is a modern world, like a big city like Bombay, and friends come together, they enjoy, they have a drink. Now don't hold it too much on your head. Oh, come home, have a bath, wash everything off, start your sadhana. When you learn to drink what is inside, then you won't be attracted to this, what is outside.
Yeah.
It's natural that people want to drink. Why do people drink? Because for some time they are in a heaven. And why is that so? Because the central nervous system is paralyzed. We are saying, instead of paralyzing the central nervous system, let us fill it with good spirit.
Right.
So that itself becomes a bar inside you. Why would you go outside? In the beginning, so you have to consciously look into this. And don't, if you do something which don't feel guilty, immediately leave it and say that, let me say I won't do it next time, it's over. I'm done with it. You know what happens? Keep brooding over the thing that you did which you think is a sin, it will come again and again to you back.
Right.
Because the mind takes it up immediately.
Yeah.
Instead of that, if you can abandon it, throw it out of the window and say it's over. Again you might commit a mistake. Do that successively. If you do that a few times, then it will disappear.
Right.
Human beings are weak, so it's okay sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? So a teacher should not say, oh, you did this, so you... Then that teacher is not worth it.
Yeah. Now, the reason I asked this question is that, many a times we read about lives, previous life, this life and all of that. And my question comes from the root where, like say, I might have done a few things in my past life, but it took me, like say, 35, 36 years to get to a point where I wanted to start to pursue spirituality seriously. Probably I've like, I wouldn't say wasted, but spent about 30 years to get there. But again, when the next cycle of birth starts, again I have to spend certain amount of years to get there. How
Don't do
get-
that.
Yeah.
So now you got into this, hold on to this so that at the moment when you leave this body, your one pointed thought will be, I need to go beyond, I need to progress spiritually. If that is the last thought that you hold when you leave the body, then this waste of 30 years won't come in the next birth. In the 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga, after discussing everything, Krishna says to Arjuna, so when you meditate, keep your mind like a flame when there is no wind. Arjuna says to him, this is easier said than done. He doesn't use this language. But I can't do it, it's not possible. So what will happen to me? I cannot put my effort too much, I can't keep my mind like that steady. On the other hand, I am also involved in worldly life.
Yeah.
I am trying to be spiritual. What will happen to a fellow like me is neither here nor there when I die. What happens to me? Krishna explains to him very nicely, saying, look, the interest should be important, fixed, so that when you are leaving your body, if that is your main thought, that I should spiritually progress. It's not easy, but
Yeah.
if that is, then you don't have to start from square one. All the things that you have done till then will be like a bank balance with you. Krishna doesn't say bank balance, I am saying with you. And when you come back next, you will be born into such circumstances through the fructifying of your karma. Either you will be born in a rich family, where by the time you are begun to think for yourself, you have seen what riches can bring and will probably be fed up with it, like the Buddha.
Yeah.
Or, he doesn't say Buddha, I am saying. Or, you may be born in a family of religious people, people who have an interest in the inner studies, great scholars, things like that.
Yeah.
So that from childhood you are exposed to it and you will naturally go in that direction, and before you get plunging into the world you will be protected.
Right.
So there is no fear. See, in this search for spiritual understanding, have no fear. Even if you fail, you will win in the end. This is some courage we should have.
Yeah.
Many people get desperate, they get lost, they don't know what to do. I am telling them, please don't worry. Move forward, keep it in mind. One day you will touch it.
Right.
That is the clarion call of hope.
Somewhere there is
Uttishta
this
Jagrata
mindset.
Prapya Varadnibodhata is from the Mundaka Upanishad,
Yeah.
which means we stand up, wake up, stop not till you have touched the truth.
Yeah.
It is not meant for one life, it's meant for many lives.
Right. Right. Yeah, somewhere this mindset of, looking at it like business and running after KPIs.
But this is not business.
Yeah.
This is a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Huh? And don't look around and try to fish for compliments. Sometimes you will not get compliments, instead you will get bad things from people. You have to stay and carry on with your life.
Yeah.
Everybody is not interested in spiritual practice.
Right.
You are trying to swim against the stream, it's not a joke. Others who think, who don't want to dare that, instead of that they will say this is foolish, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So, don't depend on your spiritual life based on what other people say.
Right. Sure.
See, it's so difficult to get rid of your old contacts and old friends. It is not easy. Somewhere it will be there eating you, right? So, we have to stay afloat without getting stuck.
Right.
What happens when this happens? You are going along, then again you get in touch with someone, something which has a negative influence, and then you are again sucked into it. You have to free yourself from it.
Sir, and one last question, sir. I have this, a lot of attraction towards Kailash, and I would love to hear your experience about Kailash? I'm planning to go to Kailash in May.
One is when you go now, it will be easier than when we went. I believe that's very good now. Two, I personally believe that Kailash is not just a mountain out there. It is a point of contact between the ancient times, the humans, and other beings which are not humans. That Kailash and Mansarovar are a point of contact. So when you go there, go with an open mind, so that any influence that you get enters your mind. There are lots of people who go to Kailash. Manasarovar, I have seen people fishing.
Oh.
They are only interested in the fish, they are not interested in the money. So when you go to a place like that, keep your mind on that. It's like people who are habitually addicted to alcohol. If you go to a beautiful place like Gulmarg or the Himalayas, in the evening at 6 o'clock, it's so beautiful they think, "Arey, thodi whiskey hoti to aur." You see, what happens? You miss that.
Right.
So, you know what I'm trying.
Yes, yes. So what should people do? Like say, for example, if I'm sitting in front of the Mansarovar, how to make myself open to receive the possibilities?
Say that the world you have left behind is there. We don't know if it is there when I go back. Or maybe I may not go back, who knows. So here I am. It's a beautiful moment. It's this wide lake out there. Let me just look at the vastness of the lake and meditate. The Kailash is coming up on this side. Sit there and meditate and ask for help. Kailash is associated with Shiva.
Yes.
Now the concept of Shiva is basically not human. It's from some other realm. So keep your mind open and say, help me out. May I touch your energy, and meditate.
Yeah.
And if you're meditating late at night and midnight or something, you might actually get distracted by some lights that come down and go. And get distracted. It's a contact point.
Right.
So just think that devas are going, I'm okay. There used to be a person called Shivaratri Swami in Tiruvannamalai. Actually, he was the one who discovered Ramana Maharshi in a way. Shivaratri Swami used to go to many houses and all. He was not like a cowpin wearing sannyas. Suddenly while talking, he'll say, let agarbattis ring, bells, have the lights. So people say, what happened to this man? They are going. So these are going in Manasarovar better than in Tiruvannamalai.
Right. It's like a busy airport.
Busy airport. So take some effect from that. You see, much of the knowledge we have on these higher things, you'll be wondering, how did human beings get to know this? Human beings get to know it because of the higher beings. They are our teachers. No human being will break your head, you will get to this knowledge. It comes from there.
Yeah.
And they have given a supreme link. They have said, if you find the source of your being, you have touched this energy. It's a gift that has been given to us.
And that in itself is a lifelong journey or many lives journey.
It's a wondrous journey, I would say. Treat it like an adventure. When you go for an adventure, you get into so many problems, right?
Yeah.
You don't stop.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for spending all this time. I really, really loved this, and I'm sure all the listeners over here would take away a lot of this from this conversation as well.
My idea is that people will get something out of it, even a little bit. I'll be happy.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yagneshwar. This is called a Jnana Yajna.